Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. On 5th of November this year, the United States of America will hold their 60th presidential elections, where they will be electing a president and a vice president. The incumbent Joe Biden will be seeking for a second consecutive term, while the Republican Donald Trump, who is also Biden's predecessor, will be seeking for a second non-consecutive term. For many, this will be just another election and they are not concerned at all. But you all understand that the outcome of that election will hold a very big impact in Africa. And to one person, to the President of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, this election is a matter of life and death. And in this video, ladies and gentlemen, I will explain to you why William Samoei Ruto and the entire Kenya Kwanza team is praying so that Donald Trump does not see the light of day. They wish that on 5th November of 2024, that the electorates in America pronounce themselves and elect Joe Biden. That is what I want us to look at. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, I still want to remind you of the Morine challenge. For those who don't know what is happening, Morine is the lady that you see there, a mother of one, who went to look for greener pasture in Lebanon, working as a domestic worker, and she was tortured by her boss. And then she flew back to the country. She's got very many severe injuries. She's got pelvic fracture, and of course you can see there the stitches. She was really beaten and tortured, and she's traumatized. Anytime she remembers what she went through, she gets berserk. She cries profusely because of what she went through. Now she needs to go back to the hospital because she was flown into the country before she got healed. So we are doing a challenge for her. Anything that you have, 50 shillings, 100, 1,000, 10,000, whatever you have, so that we can take her to the hospital. She requested the members of the public, the members of the channel, anyone who will get this plea, and if you are touched, please send whatever you have so that we can help a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, the upcoming American presidential election is one that is very interesting, and for William Ruto, he wishes that those people elect Joe Biden. You understand that President William Samoei Ruto, as many have now labeled him, is a puppet of the United States of America. Actually, a puppet of Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden had a very big influence in Ruto's victory to becoming the 5th president of Kenya. And many have argued, they're wondering how William Ruto, what they now say, defeated the deep state, because Uhuru Kenyatta was the incumbent and he had his candidate Raila Amolo Odinga. But William Ruto maneuvered, and let me say outmaneuvered them, and he became the winner of that election. Something that has been contested to date. The Azimio fraternity is still asking the IEBC to open the server to show the whole country that they won that election. But President William Ruto has become a darling of the West, so much that when he was being sworn in, Joe Biden sent a delegation, a team of personnel, a team of persons from the US to witness that inauguration. And then it didn't take long, and the First Lady of the US paid William Ruto a courtesy call just to show him how much they love him and to give him a vote of confidence at a time when the Azimio presidential candidate Raila Amolo Odinga was saying that William Ruto is an illegitimate president. And then they also supported William Ruto as he unleashed the police to deal with the Azimio supporters who are protesting against his victory. And Joe Biden has never hidden his love to William Ruto.
We need more voices, more perspectives at the table. The United Nations must continue to preserve peace, prevent conflict, and alleviate human suffering. And we embrace nations stepping up to lead new ways and to seek new breakthroughs on hard issues. For example, on Haiti, the Caribbean community is facilitating a dialogue among Haitian society. I thank President Ruto of Kenya, I thank him for his willingness to serve as the lead nation of a UN-backed security support mission. I call on the Security Council to authorize this mission now. The people of Haiti cannot wait much longer.
It's something that has hit a snag because it was voted against in the US House, and it was also blocked by the Kenyan courts. When the elections, when the elections were ongoing in Bomas, where there was tallying and verification, for the very first time we had an ambassador who pitched camp at the Bomas of Kenya. People are wondering how on earth could an ambassador of another country come and pick camp as if she was supervising what was going on. This is what Meg Whitman did. And then she made it very clear. I don't know where she got that audacity, and told us that the last election was the freest in the history of Kenya. In her obstinate nature, she pronounced themselves. And this did not go down well with Raila Amolo Odinga, and Raila called her off and told her to shut up.
Let me unpack a couple of these areas. Democracy. I arrived in Kenya days before the August 22 general elections. What I witnessed was nothing short of remarkable. Kenya held what many analysts and commentators say was the freest, fairest, and most credible election in Kenyan history. The elections were observed by international and local election organizations, and the results were upheld by the Kenyan Supreme Court, and power was transferred orderly and peacefully at the time.
What is wrong is police brutality. Now finally, you want to tell a rogue ambassador, leave Kenyans alone. If Mandamano can lead to a dialogue between Ichungwa and Kalonzo, everything is good with Mandamano. Tell the rogue ambassador, Kenya is not United States. Kenya is not a colony of the United States. Keep your mouth shut when you hear. Otherwise, you will call for your recall back to your country. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Raila called her the rogue ambassador. With that picture, ladies and gentlemen, the kind of dalliance that William Ruto is enjoying with Joe Biden is one that many have described. It is not symbiotic at all. It is parasitic. Some feel that Joe Biden is misusing William Samoei Ruto so that they can achieve their agenda, including the GMO, LGBTQ, and all these things that they want to be implemented in Kenya. But if you ask me, it is a kind of symbiotic, because William Ruto was also aided to become the president of Kenya. And he is really counting on Joe Biden to be re-elected in his next term. If Joe Biden is defeated in the next election come November this year, then William Samoei Ruto will be doomed, because that would mean that if Donald Trump comes in, then William Ruto will start to renegotiate with the new government. Already with Joe Biden, they have a plan what they want to do, and I know they are supporting him. That is why anytime something happens, Chris Coons comes very quickly and is sent so that he can fix things. So if Joe Biden is defeated, William Ruto will have to start afresh, because the new president, if Trump is elected, would mean that he might decide to play neutral in the next elections, not interfering. You will never see, because once he's elected, Meg Whitman will lose her position as the ambassador of Kenya. I know Meg Whitman is a Democrat. That is why she was appointed as an ambassador to Kenya. She will lose her position, and Donald Trump will appoint another ambassador, which might not be very much engrossed and concerned about our elections. They might decide to play neutral. And when they play neutral, that would mean that William Ruto will have only the IEBC. That is if they decide to play and to dance to his tune, and maybe the Supreme Court. And on the Supreme Court, that will only depend on if William Ruto is elected or announced, declared by the IEBC, and the opposition decides to go to court. If the IEBC becomes stubborn, if you get a stubborn IEBC chair who decides that against all odds he will follow the law and announce the winner. If William Ruto is the winner, yes. If the opposition candidate will be the winner, then he announces that it will be very difficult for William Samoei Ruto, because Joe Biden was never neutral at all. He took sides, and even now he is pro William Samoei Ruto. The other thing that might happen, because a position of neutrality from the US will be a doom. William Ruto will be doomed in such a position. The Republican, Donald Trump, might decide that he's not working with William Ruto. You see, in Africa, Joe Biden elevated William Ruto to a level where William Ruto looks like the spokesperson of all the other presidents. He's a new kid on the block, but he's the blue-eyed boy to the US. Joe Biden has made him a man. On climate issues, William Ruto is the chair of all the African states. And this has really made him, the other presidents don't like him for this, because he's the new kid on the block, yet he's now acting as a prefect above the other presidents. So if Joe Biden decides that he's not going to work with William Ruto, he will identify another president, maybe in Africa, to start working with, because one bare fact is those international community cannot afford to work without Africa. The only problem is that they are exploiting. So in the event that Donald Trump decides that he's not working with William Samoei Ruto, then there will be no reason to support him, because Joe Biden supported him because they had an agenda. Right now, we want to sell our state corporations, including the seed corporation, Kenya Seed Corporation, something that I think it was also blocked in our courts, because people feel we are only dancing to the tune of the US. So if Donald Trump will decide that he's not working with William Ruto because they don't have any plan, they don't have any agenda like the one that Biden has, then William Ruto will lose his stature as the African spokesperson among all the presidents, the way he's being identified in the other forums. That means that he will lose his stature. He will never act as a president, as a spokesperson. And that means that they will have nothing or they will have any reason to support him to become a president, to help him maybe rig, if at all that is what happened in 2022. But even if he gets re-elected, that will be it. There will be no such friendship that overrides what the other Kenyans feel, because the way it is, William Ruto overrides whatever Kenyans want, their feelings, and is listening to the US, the World Bank, the IMF, is listening to those rich men who want to introduce LGBTQ and GMO in our country. So if he gets re-elected and he is not a judge, and Donald Trump does not pamper him, then he will be just another African president like any other. Another thing that will happen, the new government might decide to get involved in our election, but involvement in such a way that they will compel IEBC to do the right thing. Just being there telling them, announce, if it is maybe Kalonzo Musyoka or Raila Amolo Odinga or Martha Karua, announce the rightful candidate. They can also compel, because you know they're the superpower, they can decide to compel the IEBC. The other thing that will happen, once the IEBC realizes that they have the protection of the US, maybe the ambassador is here and is telling the chairman of the IEBC, just announce, nothing will happen to you, then he will probably say William Ruto has lost and nothing will happen to him. And that is why William Ruto fears that a new government might not agger well with the whole Kenya Kwanza team and all this. So the whole thing will change if Joe Biden will not be in that seat. I know there is a policy about the US and all that, but this kind of interference with African leaders might just end when Donald Trump comes in. And I know it is a unique election. I don't know who will win, but from the Kenyan Statehouse, they are praying day and night so that by December or November, Joe Biden will be pronounced as the president of America for a second time.